Hello and welcome to the CRS webinar. I'm Sandy Raciniak, e-learning manager with the Council, and I'm pleased to have all of you on the webinar today. We will be recording today's session for playback at a later time. Because of the nature of live webinars, if you are in a location with slow broadband or network slowness, you may experience difficulty in hearing the audio through your computer speakers. If you do experience audio issues during the webinar, please dial into our toll-free conference line. The dial-in information appears at the bottom of your screen right next to the Twitter feed. If you have a question, go ahead and use the chat panel on the top right of your screen, and we will plan on holding your questions until the end if we have time. We also invite all of you to follow along with this webinar on Twitter using the hashtag SAB13. You can see the live Twitter feed at the bottom of the screen. It's going to be a great webinar today because we have a wonderful moderator, Brian Copeland. Hey, Brian, how are you doing today?
Doing well, Sandy. So good to see you all.
Good. We're happy to have you with us. Let me just tell everyone a little bit about Brian. Brian is a Nashville and Beyond team business coach and advisor. He was the 2011 Nashville Realtor of the Year. He is one of the most sought-after real estate speakers in America, emceeing and keynoting some of the largest conferences in the profession. He serves and has served as Vice President of Tennessee Association of Realtor, the Greater Nashville Board of Directors, and numerous National Association committees and chair positions. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the CRS webinar, and I will hand this off to you now, Brian.
Hey, everybody. As you can see, we've got something very different right now. This is our very first CRS webinar with cameras. So, hey, Jackie. Good to see you.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, James. Good to see you, buddy. Hey, Seth. Good to see you, man.
How are ya?
All right. So we've had fun. We want to have fun with you guys today. We hope that you've seen us now. You can see our excitement about this event. You can see that James and I can't hide our headpieces as well as Jackie and Seth can due to the hair limitations. But we've got an agenda for you today. I do want to tell you a little bit about what you'll be experiencing. The first set, we're going to talk a little bit about Sell-a-bration as a whole and an overview. There are some changes this year we want to bring you in the loop on that you're going to be super excited about. And then we're going to go into the content at that point. So understand our first few minutes are going to be us talking about the event, and then we'll get straight into the content. James is going to tell you a little bit about his keynote. Then Seth will be taking over, and then Jackie. Okay, so that's going to be our layout for the day. Before we get going, though, I just want to ask everybody, since we have this camera stuff today, Jackie, what's the favorite thing you have in your office right now?
Mine? Well, actually, I have a picture right here. I don't know how well you can, let's see if we can see this. Oh, there we go. That is my sole picture of me. I'm the little curly-haired girl with my real parents, which is my favorite thing in the house.
James, what do you have? What do you like in your office?
Well, you'll be seeing my big bottle of water that I'm trying to drink a gallon of water a day. My other favorite thing is Chris, who just came on with us this year, who's overseeing all of our marketing.
Awesome. And Seth, how about you, buddy?
Well, I'm in one of our conference rooms. Let me think here. All right, I got one.
Oh, you have a conference room. That's not fair, Seth, all right? That's not
I know. That's right. Okay, so the favorite thing I have, we bring these in when we're sitting down with the buyer or seller to see if we can pull this up here.
Oh, that's great. I love that one.
So this is it's a little pill bottle that we fill with M&Ms, and the little tag says, real estate market stress, getting the best of you. Take 2 or more pills and give us a call immediately. And it's amazing what a little bit of chocolate in a meeting will do to set the tone. So there we go.
What I have in my office is all these people have sent me notes, little love notes, and they're all in sticky form, so I pulled some down for you guys. And they keep me going during the day. They're photos of some of my favorite people. They're little positive notes. Actually, Jackie, everybody on this call today has written me these notes, and they stick all over my walls. And so sometimes when you're just needing to have some concentration and focus in your day, it's great to look up on the wall and say some great messages up there. So that's, yeah, James, looking here. So you got to know a little bit about the panelists personally there, but just to tell you a little bit about them more distinctly here. James, of course, is a CRS. He and I went to college together. So we actually went to the same university named Carson Newman College. It's in Jefferson City, Tennessee. He's been our Young of the Year. He was one of Realtor Magazine's top 30 under 30, and he is consistently a top producer with the RE/MAX. Jackie, who is right to that side of me, they're reversed now. Jackie was actually the person who introduced me to CRS. So Jackie is a CRS instructor. She is actually in all of my team members' contracts. They are required to take her listing course in our new team contract. So Jackie, thank you for being here on this call. I know you're very hard to get, so thank you for taking the time for us today. And then Seth, he's the new guy that some of you got to meet last year. I started introducing Seth to the stage, and every time when the reviews came back, he and Alice were consistently some of the highest ranked people by you guys. And so we have decided to put Seth definitely in a higher, more visible position this year in Sell-a-bration. And he's going to be telling you a lot about the referral plans as you see the little M&Ms and the medicine that you see there. Seth is brilliant with that stuff. He has some of the very best branding in the industry. Keep in mind as you go through today, if you want to ask us questions, you can certainly ask those questions. We can see the chat, so you'll see our eyes going over to the chat, and I'll be pulling those questions in during this time. Of course, we're here to talk about Sell-a-bration 2013. It's 25 years. And I think about the people who've walked before us to bring this to us. One of the things that you're going to see in my opening keynote this year is I'm going to be talking about transition versus tradition. It's going to be a challenging keynote, but we're also will be looking at the history of CRS, and we're going to be looking at the future of our industry as a whole. What does brokerage of the future look like? What does our business look like? And then, most importantly, what does our consumer look like at that point? So that's going to be my opening keynote, and it's all going to happen at Caesar's Palace. Now, if you haven't been to Caesar's Palace, full disclosure, it's the place that I actually, when I'm staying somewhere else, I go to Caesar's Palace to enjoy the way it looks. It's simply amazing. Jackie, have you stayed at Caesar's Palace before?
I haven't stayed there, but I'm just like you. I never go to Vegas without going to Caesar's Palace.
James, have you stayed at Caesar's Palace?
Never. Looking forward to it.
Have you, Seth? Have you stayed at Caesar's Palace?
Never. Looking forward to it.
So we've not stayed there. We've all visited Caesar's Palace. It's amazing. It's the place that people want to go when they go to Vegas to see. So January the 31st is the kickoff of Sell-a-bration. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we're doing Sell-a-bration and the way it'll be laid out with the program here in a second. Registration for early birds ends on December the 14th. Make sure you go to Sell-a-bration, again, the way it's spelled up top without the dashes, the Sell-a-bration.com. That's where you can register and get the early bird discount on that. Okay? When we look at Caesar's Palace as a whole, it also has a huge mall connected to it. And in that mall, it's the who's who of stores. So if you're a big person shopper, if you like to shop the big brands, I don't know if my friend Steve from Oklahoma is on the call or not, but he loves these brands, he and his wife. This is the place to go shopping. The mall itself is just a spectacle to see. When you go inside, you'll be amazed at the architecture, as you can see in the picture here. So if you're a big shopper, you're absolutely going to love that. And, of course, you can't ignore the entertainment that happens there. While we're there, the Rod Stewart The Hits show is there. That's only at certain times. Right now it's Shania Twain. It's switching over to Rod Stewart, and it happens to be at the time we're there. Also, it's Super Bowl weekend, and while the Super Bowl is happening, of course, several hundred miles away, it's always a huge time in Vegas. So we were able to get the discounted hotel rates for an amazing weekend. So you're going to enjoy lots of events while you're at Vegas. So just don't think about just the conference itself. There's a lot to do there. When we look at the conference, we look at the day layout. And as you can see, buyer legends this time. I know it's new for a lot of you guys. We've had listing legends. And what's happened is, again, the valuations you guys have given us is this area is very well received by you guys. And so we've decided to expand the legends aspect. So this time around it's going to be buyer's legends. That's going to be the day before. That's January the 30th. And then the next day, we actually go into our pre-workshops again. These are before the actual Sell-a-bration technically kicks off. These workshops vary. Jackie's got several during that time. I don't mean to scare you again, Jackie. I'm sorry, it's one that she's going to be telling us a little bit about during this called appetizers. One of the joys also, there's some new faces you're going to see during the workshops. I begged one of the new stars on the scene. Her name is Sasha Farmer. She's out of Charlottesville, Virginia. Does anyone know Sasha? I know, Seth, you know her. James, do you know Sasha yet? She is amazing. I know, Jackie, you know her too. Amazing. She was one of Realtor Magazine's top 30 under 30. She's going to be doing several things during Sell-a-bration. You're going to see a lot of favorite faces that you've known for years, and you're also going to see some new faces. The new thing I do want to point out, though, is when we get to the main program, we've got a big, big difference that's going to be happening. And we're taking the spirit of the Legends series, but we're taking it to the main stage, calling them mega panels. So what happens is it starts with the keynote. And then after the keynote, we go into the actual mega panel, which is going to be some of the industry's top shining stars on stage all in one place. So, for example, the first day, Denny Grimes opens with an economics panel called Predicting the Present. As soon as he finishes his keynote, we immediately go into the mega panel. There's no break whatsoever. We'll bring in 5 or 6 heavy hitters right on stage, and the first panel is called How We Survive the Downturn and What It Means to Our Future. That panel is going to tell you how they survived, what they did, and what they're doing in the future. Now, after that panel's over, one of the feedback that you guys gave us was you liked more one-on-one instruction. You wanted more hands-on. So it took some major logistical maneuvering, but we were able to get breakout rooms. And so each of these people from the main mega panel now become individual business coaches for you. You'll be breaking into small groups, going into a room. There's an agenda, but the agenda is pretty much set by you guys, and you're going to be able to answer those questions one-on-one with those people, telling you the systems and all the things they talk about in philosophy on stage. You're going to be able to put, and we're calling them pretty much like laboratories, but they're called conversations. So this is the first time we've done this. Actually, all these people, next week we start our training for this. So this isn't something we're saying, hey, go to that room and just hang out and answer questions. They're actually going through training to have a program ready for you guys for coaching and to be able to optimize that time. So this is something brand new for us. We're trying it out. We know that our CRSs are the most go-with-the-flow, innovative people out there, and so we're excited about your feedback on this. We're also excited about Celebration 13 because it's 25 years. This is a huge year for us. And in that, it has some history. So I want to talk a little bit to our panelists today about some of the things they've learned at Celebration and some of the things they've had happen there. So, Jackie, tell me a little bit about the experiences you have had. Just tell me one in particular, especially, that you've had at Celebration.
Wow. I don't know if I can name one in particular, Brian. I mean, it's 8 years for me of constant attendance at Celebration, and it's the intimacy of Celebration that I love. So I guess if I were to pinpoint one thing, it's getting to know people there and getting to know them well and learning from them in that environment. And it's lunch and it's dinner and it's the hanging with people that I'm telling you, I don't know if I can nail just one.
LobbyCon. LobbyCon is what we call that. And that's out in the lobby. I mean, Jackie and I actually met as another person at Celebration named Julie Beal, who now is a dear friend, and that connection happened there. James, is there something you'd love to share about one of your experiences at Celebration?
Sure. I'm a little bit selfish with my time, Brian, and so I really take a lot of time to figure out where I want to be during the year. And the reason I choose Celebration every year is selfish on my part. I want to make money, and referrals happen not only at Celebration but the introduction. For instance, we just closed on a referral from Hawaii from another CRS who knew me as a result of Celebration, and it was a nice check. So, so I love Celebration and I love what's out there. But just like Jackie said, the power of connecting and making sure that when people are thinking DC and Northern Virginia, they think me. I can't get that on the phone or on a webinar.
Literally, and by coincidence, 2 referrals today came in through Celebration and exposure there and get to know people there. And some even before I took this role, but 2 came in today. I've got to return this call as soon as we get off of this webinar. I'm getting straight on the phone with the referrals. So, Seth, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, and that's a great point. We got a couple referrals in today as well, and the reality is it's the people that you meet from around the country. But I was having lunch with another agent in our region today, and we both reached a conclusion that when you want to learn from just really the top producers in this industry and people that you're going to gel with and are going to do business the way you want to model it, you probably got to get on an airplane, and that's just okay. And so Celebration is just, that's just in our calendar. Like, you just name when it is in 2014, and we'll be there. But I go back to what Jackie said, because it's about the panels, and it's about what you learn from the stage, and jot down a couple notes and figure out what you're going to implement. But it is just the one-on-one relationships, people that you can call up when you've got a tough situation. You remember so-and-so is great at farming, or so-and-so is great at parties. Like, just meeting people in that room and then starting your own Rolodex of the industry from around the country, that is priceless. And it exists more in CRS than anywhere else.
Seth, keep the question with you on this one. Let's go on to the next question there. what is is there someone that you can name in Celebration that you've learned the most from, or something that you remember that you learned the most from, but specifically someone?
I think we stand on the shoulders of giants, and for me it is about kind of those core 200 series classes. I know this is less of a Celebration thing, but the reality is I come to Celebration because I'm seeing all these legends that are there that I've been to their 2-day class, and now I'm hearing that stuff brought up again, and I hear it in a new way, and I hear it in a new setting, and it's brilliant each time.
And thank you for saying that, Seth, because that brings up a point I wanted to point out today. Is we have really integrated CRS instructors this year. You're going to see more CRS instructors on this stage than you have in the past, and this is our wealth. And as Seth said, we stand on the shoulders of these folks. So you're going to see a lot more of these instructors sharing there. Jackie, do you have a memory or someone that you remember that really stood out to you?
I do. My career has been shaped by several people, one of whom I think even before Celebration, but mostly at Celebration, was Howard Brenton. When Howard did a lot of the keynotes and stuff, and the beginning and the end, and that's where I learned to take my dreams and double them. And some of those things that I got right there from Howard at Celebration were just amazing to me.
And James, how about you?
Gosh, I feel horrible because Jackie stole mine. I love Howard, and, the whole get out of judgment into curiosity and all the things that he would say. But what was magical about it was never about him. It was always about you reaching the next higher level. And what we've implemented within CRS in the last couple of years with the listing legends and the buyer legends is basically drafted straight from that. And so the power for me was seeing those different stars and the top producers and getting a chance to connect with them one-on-one and increase my business as a result.
We had a question about someone asked, Janine had asked where they can get Jackie's listing course, and if you look down in that box right over there, you're going to see Paul actually put a link in there to get to Jackie's courses. So there's the answer to that question. As James, Seth, and Jackie go through their presentations, please write down your questions or go ahead and chat them into the group board. At the end, we're going to try to save as much time as possible for your questions. They can be about Celebration. They can be about the presentations you're about to see here. Okay? So get those questions in there. We will get those answered for you as we go through this area. Keep in mind, again, we talked about buyer legends. That's going to be from 8:45 to 5 o'clock p.m. On that January the 30th also. So please make sure you're getting registered for that. I know many of you who are on the call have been through the listing legends, and you know what quality it is. This is the place where people open up their businesses. So please, please, please get registered for that. So James actually has the keynote session that happens at 8:15 on Saturday. Keynote session is called Systems, and he's got amazing systems at his company. And he's going to be sharing with you during his keynote some of their system areas. But today, in the next few minutes, he's going to give you the highlights of that. So, James, all yours, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. We talked about not just having systems, but the power of leveraging. We talked about these legends that we see throughout. You'll see on the screen that we're going to actually go out to 6 top producers throughout the country, not only share what my company does, but what everybody else is doing, different forms, meaning the solo producer, how do they do it? The large team with 15, how are they doing it? And that's what excites me, because the worst thing is going to an event and realizing what the speaker's saying is not connecting with you. It's not your business. Well, the exciting thing about this is it's going to connect in a real way and what it looks like. The systems that sell, how do you figure out profit as a company? To me, it's very easy. One of two things has to happen. You either have to decrease your expenses or increase your revenue. That's as simple as it is. There's only 2 ways to make it happen, and you can only do that through systems. And that's part of what I'm looking forward to, is bringing that to everyone. Here is 3 things I want you to think about as we spend just such a short time on focusing about systems. DPA, dollar productive activity, quality, and leverage. When most solo producers start hearing about teams or systems, they get worried that the level is going to decrease and the services as well. Well, how do you stay focused on dollar productive activity? How do you still provide the same or better quality service and how do you leverage all those components? How do you leverage all the components? You can only do that through systems. And yes, we have an active office, and you may be hearing some things right now. So let me jump right into it. One of the things that we talked about as a team of the four of us is we want to deliver to you things that you can implement today so your business is different. We don't want you to have to wait for celebration. So I want you to look at these different systems that we're going to talk about. And don't worry, Brian, I'm only going to take about an hour on each one. So marketing, seller, buyer, training, referrals. Does this look familiar? Obviously, this is somehow in your business in a real way on a daily basis. With marketing system, all of you are having to do at least some of this. You're having to lead generate, because if you're not lead generating, you're not selling anything. You're blogging, video, print, even community branding. I'm going to show you an example of Sam Miller, and he's been a fan favorite for many years at Sell-a-bration. Take a look at this. He has coined Apple Valley, Knox County, Ohio, Apple Valley. When you Google or search for that, he's going to come up at the top for multiple reasons. A lot of it's the unique content he's putting out there. So the question to you is, what type of unique content are you putting out, and in what format for your local community? I know Brian did a great job in Nashville and branding himself with videos. How are you doing that? Through blogging, through video? Take a look on the right-hand side. You'll see his tweets. You know, I sign up for Sam Miller's tweets, and I get them all the time. He's constantly talking not just about real estate, but about waterfall parks, about slides, about fun things to do. You'll see here he even has a quote about Ohio State Buckeyes. Unfortunately, they beat Michigan. I wasn't very happy with that. Yes, Jackie's dancing now. Seller systems. What's important within a seller system? There was an agent out in Alaska. We talked about it. On average, when a seller called in, their admin was spending 30 minutes plus with every seller that called in. I said, well, all you're doing is an intake form, correct? Yeah, and it's taking about 30 minutes on average. We introduced her to what we've been using for the last 5 years. Yeah, that intake call now is less than 5 minutes. But here's the important part of it. Let me show it to you really quick. This is our pre-listing seller survey. This has been huge. We can know before we ever have a detailed conversation with the seller how much they think their home is worth, how much they owe on their house, everything you would want to know before you speak with somebody. You know, I had an agent up in Boston that said, well, James, sellers will never give you that. They'll never tell you how much you owe. You know what? In all the years we've done it, one seller has refused to fill out the survey. And you know what? We wouldn't want to work with her anyway. So the amazing thing is, how can you implement systems that will save you time, that will give you that DPA, that dollar productive activity, and what does it look like? You can find this seller survey. I think we'll upload it, but nellisgroup.com/seller-survey. I know, very hard to remember. Let's jump to the next system, buyer systems. Pre-buyer meeting, counseling sessions. You know what's interesting is even in today's market, there's so many agents that either are not doing a counseling session or they're not doing it the right way. So I wanted to focus on just some simple components of it. One, when you come into the office, when that client comes in, think about making them fill out a survey. The last time you were at a doctor's office, what did you have to do? When you first came in, you had to fill out a survey. You want to make it an interactive time right away. Where do you sit at the table? Do you sit across from each other? Do you swing around so it's more of a cozy moment where there's not that barrier? Building rapport. There was an agent in Kansas City. She wasn't a huge sports fan, but her client coming in was a diehard Chiefs fan. And you know what happened when she came in? It wasn't plaques and everything else. It was Kansas City Chiefs everywhere. Do you think they connected quickly? Absolutely. And the value, and this is very important. Even before they come in the office, they need to know they're going to get value from you. Before you ever talk about them making a commitment to the next step of the process, they've got to see the value in you. What is your team, or what are you going to do that's different than all the other agents? This can only be accomplished in the right type of counseling session, which is a huge part of that system. This was interesting to me. When I started polling the top producers from around the country on their training systems, what is your delivery system to bring on a new agent and have them up and running in the shortest amount of time? More importantly, bringing that quality level of service as high as you want it to be. They talked about video manuals where they actually have videos online and their new agents or new team members just watch the videos. They talk about how they leverage their current team members. But here's what's interesting. 90% of them all said shadowing is the most effective training that's ever been around. We've been doing that ourselves, where when we bring on new agents, I make them shadow myself or someone from our team. They see somebody else showing houses. They see somebody else writing contracts. It's a viable part of what our training system is and how we deliver it. This I can't overstate. Candidly, the people that I was talking about to find out about their systems for this celebration, on average would charge $5,000 for a realtor outside the area to come and shadow them for even just half a day or a full day. That's the kind of content you're going to get when you come to Celebration when we talk about these systems. The referral system. So many agents say, well, most of my business is based on referrals. Okay, great. Well, how do you increase that? What does that look like? What are basically, what's your best bang for your buck? If you're going to spend time on the phone, if you're going to spend time with clients, what do? I know Seth does a great job with his client events. One person I want to mention is Leslie McDonald that I've known for years, and she, and I don't know if she created it or somebody else did. You know, the nice thing about real estate is it's just rip off and duplicate, right? I mean, that's what we all do. She's been doing this pie thing, and what's been amazing to me is not her success, but I know 5 other realtors that have all done what she's doing with the pies and have made, candidly, tons of money by doing something as simple as having people come into her office for pies. Think about this, though. When you do your pies, look at the bottom. Host in your office. Not only that, but she makes them bring in the postcard. She does that by design so she can remember who they are, okay? So they announce, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith are here to see you, Leslie, and she comes up front. Actually having a pie reception, I think this is a mistake that most agents make. They might do the pies, they might glad hand it, but they don't have a separate room for a pie reception and a party room where, more importantly, people can spend time there, and you can get new Love Me videos where you're getting testimonials from your clients that have already come in. They just got something for free. They're happy to see you, and now's an opportunity to connect in a deeper way and get free marketing for you and your own branding. So think about that, because that's a step. Even the 5 agents I talked to, they have not been doing that, and I think that's so key in raising it to that next level where you're really making the best opportunity out of what you have. Why do you do systems? Here's a picture of when I was on vacation last. You need to have systems so that sales happen without you. If you have to be there on a daily basis, your business will do well, you'll increase, but your life and your sanity will increase. You have to learn how to leverage, whether you're a solo practitioner or a big team. And my goal of you attending Celebration and coming to that keynote is that you'll learn how to sell without yourself.
Wow. That's a hard lesson to learn, James, because I had a person at Celebration stick, I won't say her name, she stuck her pointy finger in my face and said, you have to do this or you will not survive in this industry. And it was all about systems. And that point about being able to keep your systems going without you, I am having to completely rest on that. I've had to rest on that for the last year, and it's been amazing. Behind me, I've asked all my team to leave, but this functions without me now. It's such a wonderful, wonderful, it kind of hurts in some cases, but you understand how it really helps in the big picture of things. So, James,
nothing more valuable than seeing them do it better than you, and that's fun for me.
Yeah, I love going to listing appointments with them and just sitting back going, wow, they're doing so well. And my brother just joined my team, so he started this week. So it's an interesting training curve and learning all those systems to get in place. So we all learn together. Seth. Seth is up in, by the way, James, if you're looking for referrals, James in the Northern Virginia area, Alexandria, D.C. area, for all your referral needs up there. Certainly they're doing this for free. Nobody's getting paid for this, so we appreciate you getting the referrals to them. And speaking of referrals, in Baltimore, Maryland area, Seth Daly and his lovely wife. How many daughters do you have, Seth?
So we just had daughter number 4 this year. And we are done, but 4 beautiful girls. Thank goodness they look like my wife and not like me, so we are all good.
Yeah, and Seth, man, you've lost some weight.
Oh, thanks. You inspired me last year at Celebration.
Awesome. Well, you're looking good, buddy. And Seth and I met, probably 4 years ago, and since then he has blown my mind, not only with his branding, and today he's not talking necessarily about branding, but more about how he creates client community. And whereas he says I inspired him to lose weight, he's inspired me. One of the things that we're going to be doing next year is we're going to be doing a leaf blowing time for our clients. at the end of the fall season. So when they come home from their day at work, their leaves are going to be blown at a certain time, and we're getting big bags that say Nashville and beyond, and they're going to come home with their leaves all bagged up and everything. So, and you inspired that, Seth. So I think no one does client care like you do it. So if you'll take the reins now, Seth, and tell everybody a little bit about what you and Alice are doing there in Baltimore.
Well, thank you, Brian, and happy to be here with everybody today. Thanks so much for letting us be a part of Celebration and to be on this call today. So at Celebration, Alice and I, my wife, we're gearing up to give a talk on the idea of how do you really build community within your database. And it seems like people build community or people build a client business in a couple of different ways. And I'll put three of them out here, right? So you can build business with a very transactional marketing approach, and there's nothing wrong about that, and you'll hear talks at Celebration that'll have that approach. And then you can build kind of a strong repeat and a bit of referral business, and that's fine, and we'll talk about that. Where we've tried to take our business and what every bit of our kind of marketing energy is spent on is how do we actually build a community within our clients? And I'll tell you this, I'm not saying it's the most profitable. I think it is. But it's not about that. For us, it's the best quality of life, and it's just the most fun. So that's really where we've taken it. A customer business-based business looks like this. And this is really where there's not a lot of trust involved. You're putting money out there. You're buying eyeballs. They're getting a house. You're getting a commission check, and you spend money, and you get clients. But the real problem is you see these dotted lines between everybody. Everybody's segregated. Nobody knows each other. And if you do a great job for one person, it doesn't necessarily lead to residual business. The next option that we see is we see a client-based business where you kind of become this trusted advisor, and as a result, it creates this repeat and modest referral business. It is a domino effect, and people will refer somebody else along that line. But again, the issue is it can still be real linear. I mean, the reality is you never have to have two people in the same room. They just pass on a name, and then you work with the next person, and then you work with the next person, and then you get a repeat client. What we've found out is these are great people, and great people know a lot of other great people, and it's more fun to get them together. So for us, it just becomes this bit of intentionality. Every time that we get referred to somebody, the first question we're asking is, who can we connect them with that they didn't know before, or who did they know that we knew that we didn't realize the connection existed? So I'll explain this diagram when we get down to Vegas, but it's this idea of when you get referred to the next person and then the next person, it's always tracing it back to find out who was the source of that referral and make sure they get connected. You see the little, everybody's wearing the TDG pennant down at the bottom. So we'll throw a housewarming party, and we'll throw a happy hour. And what we're really looking for is raving fans. That's when you start to build a community, and that's when you start to reach critical mass. And what we love, and I'm not sure, there it goes, what we love is when we start to get emails from people, and they're referrals, but they don't say so-and-so referred me. They say, I've met Seth and Alice a few times at housewarming parties for all of my friends. Because at that point in time, they don't even know who they should give the credit for. So we just send out referral gifts to a bunch of people. We say, thanks to you all, the whole community, for referring another person in. So for us, what this starts to look like is we'll throw in housewarming parties. We've done these for years. It's one of the core ways we've built our business, and we've refined it as time has gone on. But we'll throw a housewarming party for a young couple. We'll meet a whole bunch of people at their party. And the way that things turned out here, looks like there is a little bit of animation here. The way that things turned out is we sold a house to all the couples in this picture as a result of that housewarming party. Now, let me stop here and say I think sometimes people make this look too easy, and they make it sound just like it's, you go through a party, you spend $50 on Chick-fil-A nuggets, and the next thing you know, you get a bunch of referral checks. No, the reality is we poured into these relationships for months and months and sometimes years afterwards. But it's all about a community. And the reality is every time one of these new couples buys a house, they're invited all the same people, and it feels like a reunion that we just get invited to each time now. So again, there we go, one of those happy couples buying a house. So at Celebration, we're going to talk through a bit about just kind of strategies and tactics to build community. And I'll give you a couple ideas right now. The first one is have the attitude of being a matchmaker. So whenever we're meeting somebody, whether it's one-on-one or in a group setting, we're kind of going through a series of questions that we're asking time and time again. So the first thought is we might have met him as a friend of a friend. But we're always going into, on any social media network, how do we know this person and how can we deepen that relationship? So we're using LinkedIn a ton for that. Obviously, we're using Facebook. We're using any social network that we can. The next question that we're always asking is, who do we know in our database that we can connect you with to actually make your life easier, make your life better? And that's just a question. That's just a frame of mind that you go into every relationship with. And then we're finding other great people in our database. We're saying, you two people, you guys got to know each other. And Brian, I mean, you are a matchmaker within the real estate industry. You have connected me with so many great agents around the country, and we're all just saying, let's do the same thing for our clients. Because the reality is, you attract great people to you. They're great people that other clients of yours need to meet. So the second thing I'd say about tips or strategies for building community is just be authentic. And this is where we'll share some things that we're doing, but at the end of the day, just do what comes naturally for you. So what are you into? If you're into golf, if you're into wine and cheese, if you're into joining meetup.com or setting up some sort of group, maybe it's running marathons, James, whatever it might be. So for us, we've got young kids. Oh, well, let me start here. But for us, we like to entertain. So we've got a house that seems to work well for this. So we'll throw a party every January. We'll actually do it. Oh, wow. By the time we get out to Celebration, this will have happened about 2 days prior, so we'll probably be kind of tired. We'll have 100, 150 people over at our home. We'll do a bartender, and we'll bring in a chef, and we'll bring in a live band. And for us, it's a time at the beginning of the year to set the momentum for referrals all throughout the year, because we bring in that engagement, we build that community with our clients. So the second thing that we're constantly doing is we're just throwing parties. We've got young kids, and so any chance that we get, we're gonna have parties with kids. What we found is that because that tends to be a great niche market for us, the more that we get kids, that we get families with their kids involved, the stickier the community is. The more they want to be there, because now they remember friends that were there and their kids got along with their friends' kids. And that's what it's all about for us. So one year we had our Frosty party in January get snowed out, so we just started the Defrosty party, and we do it every summer as well. And then movie parties. So for us, this has been an easy way to get 200, 300 people together at one time. The reality is it's a 30-minute party, because we just feed them donuts, say a few words from the stage, and then let them watch a movie. Yes, sir.
Okay, I want to take a time out right here, because look at the branding here. This is not something that he had somebody draw up to put in his presentation today. Seth, tell him about the staff position you actually have that takes care of your graphics.
Yeah, so we've got a graphics designer on staff. I have admired Brian's and other people's branding for a long time, and what I'd say is we want to be strong professionals in this business, and we want to own crisp and clean branding. And so for me, it's worth spending a little bit of extra effort. But Brian, what I would say is this: if you look at how they're all fanned out there, the first ones, man, those didn't look so good. It's been an evolution, and that's great, and we'll continue to evolve it because we want it. But the heart of it started way back then.
So tell me, is this coming in an envelope? Is this like an envelope that they get?
What you're looking at right now is the front cover of the actual brochure that we'll hand out at the event. So we'll put some of our strategic partners in there, maybe a lender, a title company, an insurance agent, which, by the way, means that they'll then start to help pay for the event a bit. So we'll put a little bio in about us, because some of them know us more as friends and beginning clients than as long-term clients. And then we'll usually, somewhere in that brochure, there's probably a charitable organization that we're partnering with. I'm not sure if it'll be in a slide here or not, but we'll typically do a Toys for Tots drive or sort of canned food drive or something. We'll always partner with a charity when we're doing these events now.
And we had a question real quick, Seth. What's the biggest mistake you can make during a housewarming party?
The biggest mistake? I think the times that I made the biggest mistakes in any sort of referral or community-driven approach is when I got either too scared or too greedy. And I came from an attitude of wanting to take more than I wanted to give. So I know that some people will gauge a housewarming party only by how many referrals they walked out of there with, okay? And you know what? Frankly, let's let this be a good challenge for Sell-a-bration. I know everybody on this call would agree with it. We go to give. When you give, you receive, but you go to give. And it's true at something like Sell-a-bration. It's absolutely true at a housewarming party. So we're just going to help them celebrate their new home. I think that spirit comes out, and we get referrals either then or over time. But the times that I made the biggest mistake is when I thought, I'll say it this way, and I'll close with this. This is a farming technique. Okay, this is not hunting. You don't go out there and shoot to drag in a referral that afternoon. For me, this is planting seeds in relationships that are going to develop and grow and bloom over time. And there I've got my bow hunter on the other slide. So for us, when we go into these environments, we're going to give for the long term because we know that grows a strong business that survives any market. And I end with this, Brian. It all becomes about being intentional. The reality is you don't want every client that's out there. There are some people that are going to get along great with you and that you're going to get along great with, and there are plenty of those people that will do business with you. So start to find people that you like. Find ways to build that community because nice people know other nice people. I'll end with this picture. There's my wife, Alice, with a first-time home buyer from a couple years ago, and there's a picture out in front of a Chipotle where that young gentleman introduced us to 3 other people that all bought houses. They all work at video game companies, and we've helped all of them. Those are our raving fans. That's our tribe. That's the community that we're building.
I'm so
there
excited about that, Seth. This year's Sell-a-bration, every year I'm running around Sell-a-bration. I can make it to very few sessions. I try to pop in, but I am covenanting today that I'm coming to your session. He did a session here in Nashville, Tennessee, for a group of about 500 agents that I had brought in. And after it was over, everyone kept coming up to me and going, who are the dailies? Who are they? Where are they from? Where'd you find them? And I was just sick I didn't get to make it to that session. And this time, I'm bringing my notepad and I'm carving out. This is one of the repeat sessions. So it will be one of the actual sessions that we have repeats on. That's one of the joys with Sell-a-bration. You will get some repeat sessions. And so, Seth, very excited about your session. I may try to get the recordings over to my team also. I'm trying to get them to come, but we don't know if we'll be able to budget that this year or not. But can't wait to see your presentation there. So thanks. Jackie. Jackie, as I said earlier, when we were in Hawaii, we met a young lady by the name of Julie Beal, or she actually knew her. She introduced me to her. And since then, Jackie and Julie have both become mentors of mine. They've become people that I have virtually shadowed along the way. And Jackie's moving into an area this year in the technology realm, in apps. She really took a big jump in her technology makeover probably 2 years ago, right, Jackie?
Well,
you're one of those people?
You know, Brian, how long ago did I sit at your kitchen table and talk about apps? And I've never bought a piece of technology without calling you first. So, yeah, it's been learning and growing, and I love it.
Yeah, and I think Jackie is, and why I wanted Jackie on here today is Jackie represents transition. She's someone who still hugs tradition, but she understands that as she reaches back into tradition, she also has to take hands with the future and the transition that's in place. And she's such an important voice at Sell-a-bration. And I want you to share, Jackie, a little bit about what you're having here with this appetizers. I love the name of it, so take it away.
All right. And again, Brian, thank you, because meeting Brian in 2007 was an amazing thing and probably the best thing I've ever brought to CRS. And when we go, Seth, building community, I'll never forget saying to Brian in 2007, you have to come to National and you have to come to Sell-a-bration. I won't take no for an answer, and I'll introduce you to the people that you need to meet. You can help us, and we can help you. So I'm introducing him to all the people, and now Brian's introducing me to all the people. So it's an amazing community. So, yes, and Julie Beal, one of my dearest friends, we're going to be doing this appetizers thing. So just a couple of thoughts in here for you. I want to start with, in appetizers, of course, the appetizer is the first course. And going back to James' systems, everything is about systems. And I just can't believe how my world has changed now that my computer, my iPad, and my phone all have the same things, and they know the same things. The challenge is we're also hungry for apps, and that's why we named this appetizers. We're just hungry to get these apps, and it's so much fun to sit around with a bunch of people at Sell-a-bration and talk about, oh, do you have this app and do you have that app, and, let's get this and let's get that, and we bump our phones together and all the stuff. Well, what I've discovered is that I have so many apps now that I can't find them. They're grouped together in little places in my phone, and I have to go to my Spotlight to find my app anymore because there are so many. So a lot of this class it will be about the fun, functional, and friendly apps that actually do something for us, that we can use and make money, use to make our life more simple, and use to systemize. My first would be Gee Whiz. Gee Whiz has literally changed the way that I use my phone and my iPad, because I look at Gee Whiz as the one-stop app. It's a one-stop shopping for apps, so that when I go into Gee Whiz, literally, that one app allows me to do my Google searching. It allows me to check my Gmail accounts. My Google Calendar is there. My Google Reader, so anyone that I have on my RSS feeds, if I want to check out what Seth Godin's blog was today, it's just right there in that app. I just go to Reader. My Google Voice is there for any voicemails that come through my Google Voice, which I've got a Google Voice number that is sort of my stealth number, if you will. I don't have my cell number on some of my things. I put this Google Voice number on, and then it forwards to my cell. So that is in there. I check Facebook and Twitter through there. I can check YouTube through there. So one app gets me to all these places. So that is my go-to app, if you will. So that's a great little appetizer. And then the first course is Card Munch. And I don't know how many people are using Card Munch, but this is amazing, especially when you're out at Sell-a-bration and you're collecting all of these cards from people all over the country and from out of the country anymore. And Card Munch, simply I take my phone and the Card Munch app, you open it, you take a picture of the business card, and it goes to live individuals. This is not a virtual machine that is taking the information off the business card and popping it into a contact list. It's literally live people who are transforming this information from the scanned business card into a contact list for you. When that comes in, you can actually put them in your contact list, or you can keep them in your Card Munch contacts if you choose to keep it separate. But it's a LinkedIn app. And so what happens is you don't just get the phone number, the email, and the person's information off of the business card. You actually get everything that's in LinkedIn. And there's a button that says connect with them on LinkedIn. So you scan the card. It goes off to whoever these people are. It comes back to you. You now have the contact. You can connect on LinkedIn, and you have their bio and all of their information on LinkedIn, and you see who their connections are. So now you can actually connect with their friends, and you've got the Seth Daily program going on in your life. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And it saves hand entering all of these people that you get back from Sell-a-bration with all their cards. So let's advance to the main course. The main course is the meat and potatoes of what we want to do, and these are more functional. And I'm just going to go through a couple of them here on the webinar. We'll have a ton of them in the appetizers class in Las Vegas. The first one is Realtor.com. And Realtor.com, has a plethora of uses, and certainly it is that app, one of those apps that we want to share with our clients to bring our clients into the loop with us. But here is the most fun part of it to me, is while I was with a seller, and we're talking about her home, and anyone who's been through my pricing or my 201 listing class knows that I am all over doing a radius search around a home for what is the seller's real competition, not just what pops out on a CMA. So I just bring out the iPhone. I pull up the Realtor.com app, which of course is convertible to Droid and BlackBerry and all of that as well. Pull that up, and in the little blue box that you see on the screen there under location, I hit that, and it comes up with their address. And then I go into the radius and say, let's just see within 5 miles of you, and let's take a look at a price range that we think your home will fit in. So this one in particular, you can see I did 5 miles. within the $250,000 to $300,000 price range around this particular address. And it pops up in seconds. And as you can see here, it says 52 homes are available for the buyers to choose from within 5 miles of this address. Now, that gives the seller a huge feeling of, oh, my gosh, I'm one of 52 in that price range within a lousy 5 miles. And then I go and do it in 10 miles and see how it changes. And, boy, do they get a feel for the market right there. And that's just such a benefit to be able to show them. So that's one of my main course apps that I use all the time, and great to share with your clients. The other main course to me is Dropbox. If people aren't on Dropbox, we need to get on Dropbox. And I know that I've been to a lot of seminars where, you know, they mention Dropbox or they mention this app or that app, but they don't tell you how to do it, you know. And so we will be, when we give you an app in Las Vegas, we will be explaining exactly how to get that app and how to implement that app so you know what to do. Because I've been using Dropbox now for about 3 years. And my assistant and I still to this day say that this is the most helpful app we have ever had, because it takes all of our files that we would have had in My Documents. We threw them into Dropbox, which is easy to download to each device. And now they are available everywhere, and I can share a link on the road from my phone. It's amazing. So I have, if I'm on the road, all of my documents that I need and files that I need are in my phone with me, and I can just go to it and email a link in a heartbeat. Dropbox it's a system. And James, there you go. It's a system. So the dessert course that I want to mention, and we'll have a lot of dessert courses too, but you know how you never disclose to people how much dessert you ate? Well, SlyDial is one of those apps that you never disclose that you're using. SlyDial, if you haven't used it, is a very cool way to make a phone call to somebody that you don't necessarily want to talk to them at that moment, but you want to get a message to them, and it just slyly goes right to their voicemail and doesn't ring their phone. So I'm dumb enough to have said many times to people, gosh, I got a call from you, and I'm sorry, my phone didn't ring. I don't know why my phone didn't ring. Well, now I know why my phone didn't ring. They called me on SlyDial. I've got the number now. And so this is when you call mom and you don't have 20 minutes to talk, well, you just SlyDial her, and the message goes right to her voicemail. You get the hit, and you get the time with them on the voicemail, but you don't have to talk to them. So that's kind of like appetizer, main course, dessert. We're going to break this class up like that. And in our class at Sell-a-bration, we will be going through a plethora of stuff, video, emails, and how to take your photos and engage your audience with them, and just, oh my gosh, just a plethora of stuff. How can you even make floor plans out of an app? It's pretty cool. So, Brian, I'm excited about this, and thanks for having me do it.
I just got the new iPhone 5. I got it last week. I'm kind of one of those people in technology, I don't buy everything immediately. I allow everybody else to test it out first a little bit. Sometimes I'm a tester, but sometimes, like in the iPhone case, it's like I want to let someone else do it. So I'm excited about getting some new apps because this one is a lot bigger than the one I had before as far as memory and everything. So I'll be downloading a lot of new apps. So thank you, Jackie, for sharing those with us from a real practitioner standpoint. So thank you. As we get ready for questions, we need you to start chatting your questions into the chat box. We'll be taking those questions in a quick fire format. But before we do, I do want to talk a little bit about this year. One of the sessions that we're having on the main stage is with the keynote. We're having the mega session afterwards, and that mega session is going to be only producers who close between 100 and 150 homes a year or more. So one of those mega panels, you're going to see 150 unit producers in there. And one of those producers was one that we kind of mafia'd into getting his CRS. He didn't know a lot about CRS, and now that he's in, he's been bit by the bug. His name's Alex Michelton. He's out of Michigan. I know Seth knows him too. Do you know him, Jackie?
Oh, I had him on a panel at NAR, and he's wonderful. One of my favorites.
Tell a little bit about Alex. I mean, what were some of the things you liked about him?
Alex is, sometimes I meet people and I say they're the real deal. Alex is the real deal. He's got such authenticity to him. And when you listen to Seth talking about his community things, and you could feel the heart coming out, Alex is like that, and he's a machine as far as pumping out business, but he's so hands-on with people. It's amazing. He's a young generation, hands-on, and I love that.
Yeah, he's very candid. He's very traditional. He still uses technology, but he does not focus on technology. No. He was one of Realtor Magazine's top 30 under 30s. And that's one of the things when we look at this audience, you guys understand tradition and technology both, and I have to really focus on those people who understood that. For example, Ashton Gustafson is one of our keynotes, and he's another one of those that he's not Mr. Techie, he's Mr. Tradition, and he's worked with his grandparents for years in their business. And so you're going to find with these new faces you're seeing some very traditional mindset and how they're being able to use that mindset. And Alex is one of the ones I'm really excited about. We're looking at some of your questions right now. In the question area, someone's asking about the price. The price changes based off of your packages. It's all, again, at Sell-a-bration.com. When you hit that website, you're going to see that Register Now area. In there, you're going to see all the prices with buyer legends. There's some lunches that you may want to be a part of in the networking area. So the pricing's there, and there's the early bird special that it does end on December the 14th.
Hey, Brian, may I say something on that?
Yes, please.
On the pricing and everything, and when people are deciding whether to come, and I hear a lot, oh, wow, I've got to fly there, the hotel room, and these seminars can be expensive, and this and that. I never made more money than when I went out of town to be with the top movers and shakers, because that's where the referrals and ideas come from. So the payback on these celebrations is amazing. It is just amazing, and I just wanted to get that in there.
And Charlie, I see your question there. The question is there going to be repeats? Are things at the same time? Now, keep in mind, the workshop day was something we added a few years ago as a test, and it took off really well. And in the workshop sessions, there are competing sessions. Those do not repeat. Those are one day only. But the next day with our other sessions, they do repeat. There is one. We haven't put everything on the schedule yet. I added literally 2 new sessions last week. This was one of the things I said. I don't want this program done 6 months in advance because we don't know what's going to come up, and we had a great opportunity that someone said, hey, I can come, I can speak, and so we plug them in. And so some of those sessions, they don't repeat, but it's the same speaker, but on a different niche area. But those will be, there are sessions that do compete against each other at the same time. So the joy is the audio afterwards. You'll be able to get that audio. So Charlie, I hope that answers that question there. Other questions in the room there. We covered that one. We answered that one. And then, of course, the Buddy Program. Thank you for pointing out Buddy Program. There is a Buddy Program, so check that out at Sell-a-bration.com and see what it takes to get that discount on that. Any other questions in there? I see, James, did you have one you want to ask? What books can we read on community? Seth, is there one that you wanted to talk about, the referral engine? Is that one of the best ones?
Well, James, I bet you got a whole big bookshelf there, but I think the referral engine is one that read in the past couple of years. Anything by Seth Godin. So one that we'll probably be talking about. We talked about tribes this past year. We're going to talk about the tipping point in this year's session. A guy named Tim Sanders wrote a book called Love is the Killer App, and he wrote another companion of his wrote Never Eat Alone. And these are all books on, it is all about relationships. It always has been. It always will be. It's Jackie Leavenworth saying it is old school and new school. So it's just how do you build relationships and how do you do it in kind of a new way. So there's some great books out there. We'll cover some of them there.
And the CRS corporate office, they just put in the chat room a link to the book. This is a book that we require all of our agents to read here at my company. That's one of the cores of our business also. So the referral engine, absolutely very, very strong area. Jackie, what's your favorite photography app?
My favorite photography app is probably Camera Plus right now.
Yeah, and we do have buddy pricing this year. I do see that question there. There is buddy pricing, so if you can get on the buddy program, again, all the details there are at Sell-a-bration.com. Well, guys, we're right at 2 o'clock. So just as a highlight again at the finish to get you guys out on time, We do finish up Celebration we start January the 30th with Buyer's Legends, and we go into our workshops Friday and Saturday, February 1st and 2nd, are our mega panels, group conversations, sessions, and keynotes. So you'll certainly want to be a part of that. You guys have just been so awesome to have on the webinar today. We hope you've enjoyed the camera aspect of it and be able to just give us some feedback on that. Let us know if that works for you. And we're going to see you all in Las Vegas, Nevada. Not Nevada, Nevada. Again, thank you to all of our chapter leadership for being on the call. I saw Crystal Lancaster, Lana Pennington, Rose Lapira, Minnie McNeil. Thank you guys for being on. We love you guys. A big kiss to you all. Have a great day. Go sell something. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.